Well, we had a little bit of a chat in Las Vegas, but Spencer Petras is here. He's the quarterback for the Aggies. Tell me about the guys in the room and how that's working out for the quarterback job at Utah State. That you're probably going to be the starter, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we added two newcomers since spring ball. C.J. Tiller from Boise State, and then Jacob Conover, who was most recently at Arizona State. Both those guys are really great dudes. C.J. a little bit younger, only a redshirt freshman, very hungry, kind of a raw talent kind of guy, very, very curious, asks a ton of questions. Been really cool to work with him. And, Jacob, again, more experienced, been around the block, knows a good amount about football, another really great guy. And then, we got Bryson Barnes, who's been, he and I arrived here at the same time in January, who he's just an outstanding dude. And I think a really smart guy, really good football player, and just a perfect guy to have on your team. He is a hard worker. He has the respect of his teammates, and he's a good football player. And so I like our room right now.
Your familiarity with the Aggie offense, because you played and you talked to the defensive coaches about how to play against this offense, is probably one of the reasons I understand that you wanted to come here.
Yeah. When I was at Iowa, I vividly remember the defensive staff there talking about how hard of a preparation it was to play Utah State, just because of what our scheme and our splits do to a defense, and the way we attack the entire width of the field and the entire length of the field too, with our play action game. And that was attractive. And then obviously, you have to do your own research too, and watching the film and seeing the kind of the players we have on the team, and just how we operate offensively. It was all very attractive and very intriguing to me. And it's a huge reason why I'm here.
So now you're here. You went through a spring with it, and whatever you're doing now. So is it literally the same thing? Nothing changed?
Yeah. I mean, I think we've actually even added some more onto this offense to make it even harder to defend. I think that our ability to, our base splits are these wide splits that you don't really see many places in college football, but being able to mix and match between the wide splits, between conventional, average splits, if you will, and then also condensed, really tight splits, being able to run different concepts, more concepts, all these things that we've actually added to our repertoire this year, I think will even continue to make us harder to defend. And I'm excited to continue to work on those things and get to work with the guys.
My most memorable quote when we were in Las Vegas talking was, we want to be as explosive as we were last year, but we want to be more efficient.
Yeah, and that kind of relates back to what I was just saying about being a little bit more multiple and running more concepts, because I think at times last year we were kind of all or nothing in certain situations with certain plays, and it's easy to do that when you've got wide receivers like Jalen Royals and all the other explosive athletes we have on our team. But I think to really take the next step to be an elite offensive team, we need to be able to beat you in a multitude of different ways. We need to be able to take the top off with deep play actions like we did last year with Jalen, but also be able to work real concepts on third down and to beat zone coverage, beat man coverage, all these different things. And that's where the efficiency lies. It's in third down, converting third downs. It's in the red zone. All those different things that where it's less about can we hit a big play or not. It's about let's just play good football and continue to move the chains. And when those big plays are there, let's hit them.
We learned in the last 24 hours there's a new quarterbacks coach. I don't know how much you've worked with him. Tell me about that.
Yeah, Hayden had a chance to work with him, this year with, as much as we can, with that he was, in an analyst role. There's less that he can do on the field with us. But now that he has been promoted and elevated, working with him a lot. But a guy I know really well, really, really smart guy. He's only 2 years older than me, I think. So that's been interesting and new. But I have a lot of respect for Hayden, Coach Kingston, I guess now. He's a great coach, and I think he's a great he's the right guy for the job. I'm excited to see what he can do, help and lead in the quarterback room.
The first thing Coach Dreiling told me in Las Vegas was, Petras is very mature. He's almost as old as I am.
Yeah, I actually don't even – I think Coach Dreiling's like, 32? 33, yeah. So he's only 9 years older than me. And I'll be 25 before the season's over. Yeah, I'm definitely the elder statesman, or at least close. I think we've got, maybe a couple guys that did a mission that they might have me beat in age, but I certainly have the most time spent in college football on the team, and I think that's an asset. And I try to impart the wisdom that I've gained over the years onto my teammates as much as I can. I'm sure some are probably sick of it, but yeah, I think it's an asset to have as much time in college football as I've had.
I said to him today in the press conference with the coach, it appears to me that both your offensive and defensive lines are bigger, because that's got to happen, I thought, from last year. Is that something you've noticed?
Well, I mean, obviously, I wasn't here last year, so I don't know how big we were. One thing that I am confident in is that we have a great attitude on the offensive line, defensive line too. I'm just not as familiar, but up front, we've got some dudes that are pretty nasty and ornery, and they've got a little bite to them, and I really love that in offensive line. I want guys in front of me that they're kind of like junkyard dogs in a way. When the fight, they're starting the fight. And I think we absolutely have that. We got some tough dudes up there. I believe they are bigger than they were last year. A lot of them are coming back and returning, so they've got some more experience. But more than anything, man, they have the right attitude for offensive linemen, and they're going to continue to improve throughout fall camp.
I've been to Iowa games twice. They're against Utah State. You had offensive line, huge, tight ends, the whole thing. Yep. That's the story at Iowa.
Yeah, I mean, it's a different style of football. At Iowa, we try and beat you by being bigger than you and stronger and tougher. Here, that's not necessarily our main goal offensively. There's an aspect of speed and the tempo we play at. That's how we try and beat teams. So naturally, schools like Iowa that play in a huddle and try and kind of wear you down, they're going to be maybe bigger in stature. But the key is not how big you are, it's how big you play. And I've been really happy with what I've seen from our offensive line. And, they're probably not as heavy as some of the guys in the Big Ten or other conferences, but they're nasty as hell, and I can't wait to see them play.
One other thing, just tell me about the mind of Coach Cefalo.
Yeah, I think Coach Cefalo is very smart. It's really cool. I'm happy he has the opportunity. It's great for him, to have a chance to call plays. But the beautiful thing is just he's been in this system. He worked with Coach Anderson for 10 years, so he's been in the system. He knows this system. He knows our players, and you can just see what he's done with our receiver room and how successful they've been. So when he gets his hands on something, it usually turns into something pretty dang good. And I'm excited to see what we can do. There's going to be challenges along the way. He's a first-time play caller. It's just like being a first-time getting a start at quarterback. But he is super smart. He is, well-respected and liked by his players, and myself included, and I'm excited for the season.
We wish you the best. Have a great year.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me on.